Guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking, and if you haven't subscribed us yet, please just click the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell as well, so that whenever I put out a new video, you'll be notified and you'll be able to watch it as soon as possible. If you like this sort of video, please give me a thumbs up and share it so your friends can learn something as well. Now today I'm back at you with another informational type of video. This is for any Jamaican who has ever traveled, or you plan on traveling. Once you have ever put or stepped foot on a plane, this video is for you. Give you some background info before I tell you what to do if you are ever in a situation where you lose your passport. So if you've been watching my videos, you see that I currently live and work in Qatar. Now I was supposed to leave Qatar on June 3. I had a trip all planned for Thailand, and then I was going to get back home on June 12th, home to Jamaica on June 12th. Now I was doing some last minute packing on June 2, the day before I was supposed to leave, and I just said, you know, where's my passport? So I'm looking through my bag where I always keep my passport, and I couldn't find it. I searched the entire house. I went back to the school. I did everything. My friends came over. They helped me search. I just could not find my passport. Now, I had to report it lost, so I went to the police station. However, that week was the start of Eid, like a religious holiday for Muslims, and basically everything was shut down. So I could not do anything. Alright? So here's the situation. I have trips planned. I am in Qatar. I need to get to Jamaica, and I have no passport. I'm in panic mode, right? But whatever it is, I still need to get home. What do I do? So for the rest of this video, I'm going to tell you what you need to do in the event that you are overseas and you lose your passport. Okay, so first of all, if you are traveling, or if you are a temporary resident somewhere else other than your home country, of course, please register with the closest embassy to you. Alright? Now, like in the US, you might have more than one embassy. In other countries, you might not have any embassy at all. For instance, in my case, Qatar does not have a Jamaican embassy. The closest embassy to me, or to Qatar, was the Jamaican embassy in Kuwait. And that has since closed since June, the end of June basically. Alright? Or the third week in June, that embassy closed. So now the closest embassy to Qatar, I would have to use the Jamaican embassy in Germany. Okay? So the first thing that you should do if you're traveling or you are a temporary resident in another country, register with the closest Jamaican embassy to you. My second point is this. Always have a copy of the biodata page of your passport. Always have an original copy of your birth certificate with you wherever you are. Try to have one, or if you cannot have a original copy of it, ensure that you have a PDF of your birth certificate, so you can have access to it via your email or thumb drive or wherever it is that you choose to keep it, but always have access to one. All right? And I would say also have a copy of your visa, especially your US visa if you have one. Okay? Now for some citizens of certain countries, if they lose their passport, you know, it might be a hassle, but it might not be as problematic. For instance, someone who has US citizenship, because they have like travel cards, and they have a lot of countries where they can enter without actually using a visa. But for Jamaicans, and you know how powerful our passport is, I hope you catch the sarcasm, a lot of countries that we go to, we have to get a visa. Now, there are some countries where once you land, you have to go through immigration, right? For example, the United States, England, Canada, just to name a few. You have to land. Once you go to that country, your first point of entry, you have to land, meaning that you must go through immigration. And for those countries, as we all know, we need a visa. A visa is required, okay? Now, if you are already in that country, say for instance you're in the US, you only need a visa to enter into a country. You don't need a visa to leave a country. So if you are already in the United States of America per se, and you have lost your passport, you can easily get an emergency travel certificate and you'll be able to travel home to Jamaica. No issues, right? The same thing for England and for Canada. The problem lies when you are in a particular country where you don't have a direct flight back to your country, your home country. So for instance, for me, I live in Qatar. There are no straight flights from Qatar to Jamaica. I have to transit. And the best route, or the most convenient route for me to use to transit from Qatar to Jamaica, is through the US. Okay? So therein lies the problem. Now, if you have lost your passport, you have two options. One, you get an emergency travel certificate, or two, you basically have to reapply for a passport and then have it delivered to you. Now, the second option isn't very viable for most people because, number one, it takes 6 weeks, a minimum of 6 weeks to get a new passport from Jamaica, right? Now, if you're traveling, you're probably on vacation, you don't have 6 weeks. If you have something important to do back home in Jamaica, you do not have 6 weeks. So the next thing, or the next best bet, is to get an emergency travel certificate, which can take anywhere between 1 week to 2 weeks. Now, in order for you to get this emergency travel certificate, you first of all have to contact the closest Jamaican embassy to you. In my case, the closest Jamaican embassy was the Jamaican embassy in Kuwait. As soon as you have contacted them, the next thing that you need to do is to ensure that you report that your passport has been lost or stolen or damaged to the police authority in the country where it was lost, stolen, or damaged. In my case, my passport was lost in Qatar, so I had to report to the police agency in Qatar. You have to get a police report, right? Now, in order for you to get this this emergency travel certificate, these are the documents that you're going to have to hand in to the Jamaican embassy. So you're going to need a copy of the bio page of your old passport, the passport that was lost or stolen or damaged. You're going to need an original copy of your birth certificate. You're going to need the original copy of the police report. Now, if you're in a country where the native language is not English, you're also going to have to get this police report translated. Now, Arabic is the native tongue of Qatar, so I had to get that police report translated to English, so that might also take some time. You also need to get passport size pictures as well. You will also need to fill out passport application form, and you will also need to send the consulate fee. Well, you don't send the money, but you just send the receipt to prove that you have actually paid the money into the account. So those are the documents that you're going to need to send to the Jamaican embassy. Now, before you are issued this emergency travel certificate, you and your embassy will have to work together to ensure that you find a route that will allow you to use this certificate. Not all countries allow you to go through their airport or through their security with an emergency travel certificate. So you first have to find airplanes that will actually allow you to board with this emergency travel certificate. Then you also have to find an airport or airports that will allow you to go through security with this travel certificate. Okay. Now, from Qatar, the route that I took was Qatar to Frankfurt, Germany, and then from Frankfurt, Germany, straight to Montego Bay. There's also an alternate route, which is Qatar to Brazil, and then from Brazil to Panama City, and then Panama to Montego Bay. Now, the Brazil to Panama route is very expensive. When I checked flights for a one-way, that was going to run me like 5,000 something US one way. Now, for the other route, which was Qatar to Germany and then Germany to Montego Bay, that was $1,532 US. A little story to tell about this as well. So I had worked with my embassy, and they had said to me that they know that Lufthansa allows you to travel with the emergency travel certificate. Now, I have an issue because Lufthansa no longer flies out of Doha. So I had gone and I had checked with the Qatar Airways, and they had said yes, they'll allow you to board or with the emergency certificate. I had also called Condor Airlines and they said yes, everything was fine. I would have been able to. Now my embassy had told me that definitely Frankfurt, the airport in Frankfurt, would allow me to transit with the emergency certificate, right? So I had double checked, I had triple checked, everything was okay. Now on June 21st, I went to the airport in Doha. I said, you know, something just said to me, go and just make sure that everything's okay. When I got to the airport and I spoke to the customer care person from Qatar Airways, she came back with a message from her supervisor saying that the German attaché at the airport said that I would not be able to transit through Frankfurt on my on the emergency certificate. Honestly, guys, I hollered, I cried. For my Jamaicans, I'm paid my ball, right? Because at this point, I had already canceled my previous flight. I had lost money there. I had already paid $1,522 US for my new ticket, and then for them to tell me that I would not be able to do this, and I would have to go through Brazil and Panama, spend another 5,000 something US. Trust me, guys. If you know Jamaicans and their money, it was so, I was so stressed that I just literally stopped, sat on the ground, and I hollered. No shame to my game, I cried. But anyway, I took a deep breath. I mean, I could hardly talk, but I have to give a shout out to the lady, the customer care rep that I spoke with at Qatar Airways. Her name is Diana. She was very helpful. Trust me, she did her best to help me. So I am back on the line, back on the phone with consultant at the Jamaican Embassy in Kuwait, Nigel Smith. Trust me, guys, Nigel and Miss Mohammed, they went up and beyond the call of duty to help me to be here today. Alright, to help me to get through all of this. They have been very, very helpful. I know a lot of times we say how, you know, Jamaican workers, they don't have good customer care, customer service. But trust me, these two people, Nigel and Miss Mohammed, they went out of their way to help me. So I am back on them and they're like, you know, they don't know what's happening because that's the route. They have done this before for other people and that was the route that they took and everything was okay, so they have no idea. So I am back with the supervisor at the airport saying, okay guys, my embassy is saying this and it's okay. I don't know what else to do. What do I do? What do I do? Help me. What do I do? So, now, remember earlier in the video I told you that the Jamaican Embassy in Kuwait closed. Now, I was the last case that they dealt with. So after they sent me the emergency certificate, that was it. They were closed. So I could no longer go through them. Whatever I needed to get done now, I had to go through the Jamaican Embassy in Germany. So now I'm talking to Keisha Kalwitter at the Jamaican Embassy in Germany, and trust me guys, she was super helpful. I was at Hamad International Airport for approximately, I'm gonna say 8 to 9 hours, and she was on the phone with me. It was way past her work time. She should have been home. She should have gone home already, and she stayed there with me. She was making phone calls. She was sending emails. Trust me, she did not leave me out for a minute. Trust me. Guys, your tax money definitely is at work for you. Trust me, Keisha Kalwitz, big thumbs up to you. Trust me, she didn't leave me at all. So let me continue on with the story. So I'm there, the supervisor, he has sent the travel certificate, the emergency travel certificate, my itinerary to the attaché, the German attaché at the airport 3 separate times, and he has said no. So I'm on the phone now with Keisha Kalwitter, and she by now has spoken to border patrol in Frankfurt, and they're saying they don't understand because they have authorized the use of the Jamaican travel certificate for travel through their airport, so it should not be an issue. So she called me back and she's asking the supervisor, could you please call border control yourself in Frankfurt and get this confirmation, because at this point if they don't get the go-ahead from Germany, Qatar will not allow me to board the flight. So I can't board the initial leg of my flight, right? So they said they can't do that, they can't call border control. So Keisha had to end up calling border control again, and they sent her an email saying they have given permission, they have granted permission with my emergency certificate number and my name to go to transit through Frankfurt Airport onto Condor flights to Montego Bay, such and such a date, on flight number, yada yada yada. And then she forwarded an email to customer service in Qatar, and they in turn forwarded it on to their security at the airport. So finally, I had to wait another half an hour, I guess, for them to peruse and to ensure that it was authentic, and then they sent back a message to say, okay, I am allowed to board. Trust me, guys, if it wasn't that I had to go home that day just to get my little backpack to travel with, then I would just have stayed at the airport, honestly, because I was just so nervous. I didn't want anything to change. I didn't want to come back the next day and hear, you know, another story at all. So that was that. You know, that worked out. Now, another thing that you need to make note of, as I said before, you are not allowed to land, meaning that you cannot go through immigration with the emergency travel certificate, right? So whatever flight that you're booking, you have to transit airside, and it has to be under the same PNR, right? Now, meaning that you'd have to go through airlines that actually code share. Now, my situation was very tricky, and I was very lucky to get through because Qatar does not code share with Condor Airlines. All right, so I couldn't book on the original side. I couldn't book on the airline side because then I would have to book two separate flights. So I had to go through, I think I went through Skyscanner so that I could actually book the flight together as one, so it could be under one PNR, because the flights do not code share. Now what this means for you, because they don't code share, it means that you cannot check anything. If a flight code shares, then they would send the bags directly to the final destination. That means you would not have to go through immigration and go through baggage claim and to recheck those bags. But in this case, Qatar Airways does not code share with Condor. So if I had checked bags with Qatar, then I would have had to go through immigration, which I couldn't do. So that was a no-no. However, when I spoke to Condor said that I could have asked Qatar to actually send it on to Montego Bay, and then in Frankfurt at the desk where I would go to pick up my boarding pass, I could have told them to send someone to go get the bags and then recheck for me. But that just sounded as if, you know, my bags would get lost somewhere in transit, and I just didn't want to go through that. So I basically just came to Jamaica with a carry-on, a very, very small carry-on, but I was just so thankful to get home. In summary, for those of you who could not watch through all the video, let me just summarize this for you. Number one, register with the closest Jamaican embassy to your country. If there isn't one in the country that you're in, register at the closest Jamaican embassy to the country that you're actually in. Number two, always have a copy of the bio data of your passport, your visa, and a PDF file of your original birth certificate. Okay. Number three, if you lose your passport, first person you want to inform is the embassy, your Jamaican embassy. You can also inform the consulates of any country that you have a visa for. Just let them know that the passport with those visas have been lost or stolen. And you also want to make sure that you file a police report and get a police report. If the police report is in a language that is not English, then you need to get that translated. Alright? Number three or number four, I think, I don't remember where I lost count. Make sure that you work with your embassy to find an airline and an airport that will allow you to use the emergency travel certificate, because not all airlines and not all airports will allow you to pass through or to board with it. Alright guys, I hope this has been very helpful to you, and I do not wish this on anyone, but if in the event this happens, at least you now know what to do. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and again, please share so someone else can learn from this. Please subscribe if you like more of these videos, and yeah, watch, share, like, comment. Thank you, and ciao!